In the vast and intricate tapestry of human history, there are moments of profound innovation, ideas that emerge and forever alter the course of our development. Long before the bustling markets and digital transactions of today, our ancestors navigated a world of barter, a direct exchange of goods and services. A farmer with a surplus of grain might trade with a potter for a vessel. But this system, for all its simplicity, had its limits. How many bushels of wheat is a sturdy axe worth? And what if the axe maker has no need for grain? It was in this complex web of human interaction that a new species of object was about to be born, an artifact that would fundamentally reshape societies, build empires, and lay the very foundations of the global economy we inhabit. This is the story of that revolutionary invention. My name is Adil, and today we embark on a journey back in time, over 2.5 millennia, to witness the birth of money as we know it. We will explore the complete A to Z of the first coin in the world, a small, unassuming piece of metal that carried within it a concept of immense power, standardized, portable, and universal value. Our story begins not in a grand metropolis of the modern world, but in a resource-rich corner of the ancient one, a kingdom whose name is now synonymous with wealth. We travel to ancient Lydia, a realm of legendary kings and shimmering rivers, to uncover how this simple yet brilliant idea first took form. Join me as we trace the origins of this remarkable artifact, from the alluvial sands of Anatolia to the hands of the very first merchants who held it. We will examine its creation, its purpose, and the powerful legacy it has left behind. The story of the first coin is not just one of economics. It is a story of human ingenuity, of our perpetual quest for order, efficiency, and a common language of value. It is a story that begins with a single stamped piece of metal and echoes through every transaction we make today. So, let us begin our exploration, back where it all started in the heart of the Lydian kingdom. Our quest for the first coin takes us to a specific place on the map of antiquity. It was not in the sprawling empires of Egypt or Mesopotamia, nor in the philosophical heartlands of Greece or the burgeoning Republic of Rome. Instead, the birthplace of coinage was a kingdom nestled in the western part of Asia Minor, a region we now know as Anatolia, in modern-day Turkey. Here in this fertile and strategically vital land, bridging the worlds of the East and the West, lay the ancient kingdom of Lydia. This was a realm blessed by nature and positioned for greatness. The Lydians were surrounded by powerful neighbors, but they carved out a formidable territory for themselves, thriving on the riches their land provided. The landscape itself was the source of their legendary wealth. The river Pactolus, which flowed through their lands and past their capital city, was said to carry specks of gold downstream. This was not mere legend. The river was rich in a naturally occurring alloy of gold and silver known as electrum. It was this raw, precious material glittering in the riverbeds that would become the very substance of the world's first coins. Lydia was more than just a location. It was a vibrant and influential kingdom of the Iron Age. Its story is one of power, wealth, and innovation. At its zenith, its influence stretched across much of western Anatolia. The capital city, Sardis, was a hub of commerce and culture, a fortified citadel perched strategically overlooking the fertile Hermus River plain. It was here, within the walls of Sardis, that the Lydian kings held court, commanded their armies, and oversaw an economy that was the envy of the ancient world. They were renowned traders, forming connections with the Greek city-states to the west and the great empires to the east. The kingdom's prosperity was built upon its incredible natural resources, most notably the abundant electrum deposits from the Pactolus River. This natural wealth allowed the Lydians to develop a sophisticated society, with skilled artisans, a powerful military, and a merchant class that drove its economic engine. The Lydians were not just passive recipients of this wealth, they were innovators. It was their unique combination of resources, trade connections, and a need for a more efficient system of exchange that created the perfect conditions for a monetary revolution to unfold within the heart of their kingdom. An invention of this magnitude rarely happens by accident. It requires a guiding hand, a figure of authority with the power to implement a radical new system. Historians and numismatists, the experts who study coins, generally attribute the issuance of the world's first coins to a Lydian king. The earliest, more primitive forms are believed to have been minted under the reign of King Alyattes, who ruled Lydia in the late 7th and early 6th centuries BCE. It was likely he who first saw the potential in taking the raw electrum, standardizing its weight, and stamping it with a mark of authority. This innovation was then refined and expanded by his even more famous son, King Croesus. Croesus, whose name became a byword for immense wealth, took his father's invention a step further. He is credited with creating the world's first true bimetallic coinage system, issuing separate coins of pure gold and pure silver with a standardized purity and weight. This was a monumental leap forward, as it allowed for a more complex and flexible monetary system with coins of different clearly defined values. The royal stamp was no longer just a mark, it was a guarantee from the king himself, a promise of the coin's worth that could be trusted throughout the realm and beyond. So, what were these pioneering pieces of money actually like? Let us examine their fundamental features. The very first coins, those issued under King Alyattes, were made from electrum, that naturally occurring alloy of gold and silver found in Lydia's rivers. The composition could vary, but it was the material at hand. These were not large, heavy objects. A typical Lydian stater, the standard denomination, weighed around 4.7 grams, a small but significant concentration of value that could be easily carried. Their creation marks a very specific moment in time, with most experts placing their emergence around 600 BCE. The heart of this operation was the mint, located in the capital city of Sardis. Here, under royal authority, lumps of electrum were carefully measured to a standard weight. This process was crucial. By ensuring each piece was consistent, the Lydians solved a major problem of using raw metal for trade, where every transaction required tedious weighing and assaying. The coin was a pre-weighed, pre-certified package of value. This combination of a specific material, a standard weight, a fixed time period, and a single place of origin gives the Lydian coin its undisputed title as the first of its kind. For our modern eyes, accustomed to intricate designs and detailed portraits on our currency, the first Lydian coins might appear remarkably simple, even crude. But in their simplicity lies their revolutionary nature. The obverse, or the front of the coin, typically featured a powerful and symbolic image. The most common design is the head of a roaring lion, a potent symbol of royalty and strength, representing the power of the Lydian king. On some examples, the lion is depicted facing a bull, another symbol of power, perhaps representing a political alliance or the king's dominion over nature. The reverse or back of the coin was far less ornate. It bore only the rough, square indentations known as incus punch marks. These were not a design element in the way we think of them today. They were the result of the minting process itself. A blank piece of weighed electrum, called a flan, was placed on an anvil that had the lion design carved into it. A simple punch was then placed on top of the flan and struck with a hammer, forcing the metal into the anvil's design and leaving the deep, artless marks of the punch on the reverse. This simple act of striking was the birth of coinage. Why go to all this trouble? Why invent coins at all? The reasons were multifaceted, addressing several challenges faced by the Lydian kingdom. Primarily, coins were created to simplify and standardize trade. Before coins, merchants had to weigh precious metals for every transaction, a slow and often inaccurate process. A standardized coin, guaranteed by the king, eliminated this inefficiency. A merchant could now accept a Lydian stater with confidence, knowing its value was fixed, which greatly accelerated the pace of commerce both locally and internationally. Beyond trade, coins served a crucial administrative purpose. They were an efficient way for the state to pay its soldiers and officials. Mercenaries who were vital to the Lydian army could be paid in a currency that was portable and widely accepted, ensuring their loyalty. Finally, coinage was a powerful form of political propaganda. Stamping the royal symbol, the lion, onto every piece of currency was a constant, tangible reminder of the king's authority and power. Every time a coin changed hands, it reinforced the reach and legitimacy of the Lydian crown, spreading the king's image throughout his realm and into foreign lands. So, the story of these ancient coins is not lost to time. Experts today can, look at a piece of metal and unlock the secrets of its origin. The process of identifying an ancient coin is actually a form of detective work, relying on several key clues. The first is the metal type itself. The presence of electrum is a strong indicator of early Lydian origin, while the later separation into pure gold and silver points specifically to the reign of King Croesus. The weight and size are also, well, critical. Numismatists have meticulously catalogued the standard weights for different denominations, like the stater and its various fractions. The symbols and imagery are perhaps the most obvious identifiers. The Lydian lion is unmistakable. Over time, different mints and rulers used unique symbols, and tracking these changes allows experts to place a coin in its proper historical context. Later coins began to feature mint marks, small symbols or letters indicating where the coin was made, and sometimes even inscriptions naming the ruler or city. By carefully combining all these pieces of evidence, metal, weight, imagery, and markings, experts can confidently identify an ancient coin, attribute it to a specific time and place, and continue to piece together the economic history of the ancient world. Are these incredible artifacts, these first whispers of a global economy, lost forever to the dust of history? The answer, remarkably, is no. While the vast majority have been melted down or lost over the millennia, a significant number of original Lydian coins still exist. They are prized possessions in the world's greatest museums, from the British Museum in London to the archaeological museums of Turkey, where they are preserved as testaments to human innovation. Here they are studied by scholars and admired by the public, physical links to our distant economic past. Beyond museum walls, these coins also appear in private collections and on rare occasions come up for sale at major auctions. As one might expect, their rarity, historical significance, and connection to the legendary King Croesus make them highly sought after by collectors. An authentic Lydian electrum stater, one of the very first coins ever made, can command extraordinary prices, sometimes selling for tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on its condition and rarity. Each one that survives is a tiny metallic time capsule from the dawn of money. While Lydia holds the distinction of creating the first recognizable coins in the Western world, the idea of a medium of exchange was a problem that civilizations across the globe were trying to solve independently. It is a fascinating example of simultaneous invention. In ancient China, for instance, societies had long used cowrie shells as a form of currency. Around the same time that Lydian coins were emerging, the Chinese began to produce cast bronze money that mimicked the shape of these shells, and later, the shape of tools like knives and spades. In ancient India too, a different form of coinage was developing. These were known as punch-marked coins, which were irregularly shaped pieces of silver, stamped with various geometric or natural symbols by different merchants and local authorities. And not long after Lydia's innovation, the Greek city-states, great seafarers and traders, quickly adopted and perfected the idea, with cities like Aegina and Athens producing their own iconic silver coins. But despite these other fascinating systems, it is the Lydian electrum stater, a piece of precious metal struck to a standard weight and design under a central authority, that holds the confirmed title of the world's oldest coin. So let us distill this remarkable story into its essential facts. Our journey has shown that the cradle of coinage, the very origin of the money in your pocket, can be traced back to one place, the ancient kingdom of Lydia in western Anatolia. This monumental innovation did not occur in a vacuum, but at a specific point in history, around 600 BCE, a time of burgeoning trade and expanding empires. The credit for this invention goes to the Lydian monarchy, beginning with King Alyattes and perfected by his son, the legendarily wealthy King Croesus. The substance of this revolution was electrum, the natural gold and silver alloy that flowed through their rivers. These first coins were stamped with a symbol of royal authority, the lion, and their creation served a dual purpose. They were forged to bring order and efficiency to trade, creating a standardized monetary economy that fueled Lydian prosperity. At the same time, they were a projection of royal power, a guarantee from the king that carried his authority wherever it was spent. This simple formula, a standard weight, a precious metal, and a mark of authority, was the blueprint that would change the world forever. From a single stamped piece of electrum in ancient Lydia to the complex digital finance of the 21st century, the story of money is the story of human civilization itself. The Lydian stater was more than just a tool for trade, it was a concept given physical form, an idea that has been copied, adapted, and evolved for over 2,600 years. It connects us directly to the marketplaces of Sardis, to the minds of kings like Croesus, and to the eternal human drive to create systems of value and trust. The legacy of that first coin is all around us, in every transaction we make, a silent testament to the ingenuity of our ancestors. The world of numismatics is as deep and rich as the history it represents. We have only scratched the surface today, and there is so much more to discover about the fascinating world of ancient coins, from the owls of Athens to the denarii of Rome. I encourage you to continue this journey. If you have any questions about Lydian currency or any other ancient coins, please ask them in the comments below. I'm always fascinated to hear your thoughts and curiosities, and I'll do my best to answer them. Sharing this knowledge is, after all, the greatest currency we have. And for my fellow creators out there, if you enjoyed the structure and narrative of this exploration, and think a similar approach could bring your own topics to life, I'm here to help. Let me know if you want a full script, voiceover, or storyboard for your next video. Thank you for joining me on this journey back in time. Until next time, stay curious.
Ready for a history adventure? Join our community. Subscribe to World History, smash that like, share with friends, and drop your thoughts below. Let's make history together. See you in the comments.